We often think of our homes as sanctuaries, safe havens where we can relax and recharge. But did you know that some objects in your home may not be as neutral as we assume? There are things around us that can either enhance our peace or subtly invite negativity into our lives. In spiritual terms, not everything we keep around us is just a simple possession. Some items can carry energies that go beyond their physical form. Being spiritually aware means recognizing that certain objects in your home might unknowingly open doors to darker forces, bringing negativity, confusion, or even oppression. Whether it's an innocent-looking artifact or an inherited item, everything in your living space has the potential to influence the atmosphere, sometimes in ways we can't immediately understand. That's why it's crucial to examine what we allow into our homes and how these things affect our spirits and lives. In this video, we'll uncover some of these items that may be doing more harm than good, and how you can protect your home from negative influences. It's time to take a deeper look at your surroundings and see what's really there, and whether it's serving your spiritual well-being. So, what exactly makes an item demonic or spiritually dangerous? It's not always obvious, but certain objects can carry an energy or power that attracts negative forces. The root of the danger lies in the belief and intention behind them. Some items are imbued with symbolism or have a history tied to practices that open doors to the occult, idol worship, or even evil spirits. These objects are not just pieces of material. They can act as conduits, channels through which harmful influences can enter your home. The key here is the energy or spiritual connection that these objects hold. For example, an item that's been used in rituals or associated with other spiritual beliefs may carry a kind of spiritual residue, even if you don't intend for it to be anything more than a decorative piece. It can still hold that energy if it's been used for purposes that oppose faith or righteousness. The concept of spiritual contamination isn't just something from ancient cultures. It's a truth that applies today. These objects may not always show signs of being dangerous, but the energy they carry can subtly affect your environment, stirring unrest, or inviting unwanted spiritual influences into your life. It's essential to recognize these signs and understand the impact they could have. The truth is, not every object is neutral, and being aware of their spiritual significance can help you take control of your space and protect yourself from negative influences. Symbols hold a deep significance in many spiritual and religious practices, and some of these symbols can be incredibly powerful, whether we realize it or not. When we bring items into our homes that carry occult symbols or representations of false gods, we are unintentionally inviting energies that go against our spiritual well-being. These symbols are not just decorative, they carry with them a spiritual weight that can affect the atmosphere of your home. For instance, symbols like pentagrams, all-seeing eyes, or other occult imagery are often associated with witchcraft, dark magic, or idolatry. Even if you don't actively worship these symbols, they can still influence your home in ways that go unnoticed. They may invite confusion, fear, or spiritual unrest, creating an environment that's open to negative spiritual forces. In many cultures, these symbols are not just designs or art. They represent a connection to something much deeper and sometimes darker. So, when we bring these symbols into our homes, whether through jewelry, wall art, or trinkets, we may unknowingly open a door to a realm that we don't want to be a part of. The presence of these symbols can create an atmosphere of spiritual tension, and it's important to understand that even seemingly harmless decor can have a significant impact on your life and your spiritual journey. Be mindful of the symbols you surround yourself with, as they can either uplift you or invite something more sinister into your space. tarot cards and other divination tools are often seen as a way to seek answers or gain insight into the future. Many people use these tools with the belief that they can provide clarity or guidance. But what they don't always realize is that these practices are deeply rooted in occult traditions. Tarot cards, in particular, are designed to connect the user with forces beyond our control, often inviting spiritual entities into the process. These practices may seem harmless at first, but they tap into energies that go against the teachings of faith and can open spiritual doors to demonic influence. The truth is, when you use divination tools like tarot cards, you are inviting external forces to speak into your life. You might think of it as just a game or a way to entertain curiosity, but these tools are connected to ancient practices that were meant to summon spirits or gain wisdom from sources outside of God. Even if you don't believe in the powers behind the cards, simply using them can create a connection to spiritual forces that are not aligned with your faith. Many who have dabbled in tarot or similar practices report feelings of confusion, anxiety, or even oppression in their lives afterward. These practices can also interfere with your ability to hear from God and guide you away from the path of righteousness. For those seeking spiritual clarity, it's important to rely on prayer, faith, and God's Word rather than opening doors to powers that are not of Him. The danger lies not in the cards themselves, but in the spiritual realm they connect you to. Even the smallest act of consulting these tools can have a profound effect on your spiritual journey, and it's best to avoid them altogether. Statues and idols have been a part of human history for centuries, often created as representations of gods, spirits, or figures of worship. While some might view them as mere decorative pieces, they carry a deeper spiritual meaning. In many cultures, statues and idols are used in rituals, prayers, or ceremonies that invoke the presence of whatever deity or spirit they represent. For Christians, the Bible clearly warns against idol worship, stating that we should have no other gods before God. Having statues or idols in your home, particularly ones linked to other religious beliefs or practices, can unintentionally invite the influence of those deities or spirits into your life. Even if the item is not being actively worshipped, the mere presence of such a figure can create an atmosphere that is spiritually unhealthy. These objects hold power, not because of the material they are made from, but because of the spiritual significance they carry. They can invite demonic forces into your home, subtly affecting the peace and sanctity of your space. It's not always easy to recognize the danger because these items may just look like normal decor. However, if they have been used in worship or ritual practices, they carry with them a spiritual weight that can impact your home and your life. Whether it's a Buddha statue, a Hindu idol, or any figure representing a false god, it's important to be mindful of what you allow into your space. Instead of filling your home with objects that have no connection to your faith, consider replacing them with items that reflect your belief in Christ and bring peace and light into your home. Removing these statues and idols can restore spiritual health and allow you to invite the presence of God into your home fully. Haunted or antique furniture may seem like simple, cherished possessions, but they can hold a deeper, sometimes disturbing connection to the past. Many people don't realize that objects with a long history, especially antiques, can carry with them a spiritual residue from previous owners or events tied to them. This can be particularly true for items that have been passed down through generations or bought from estate sales, as they may have been part of rituals, curses, or tragic events. In some cases, furniture has been part of homes where negative energies or even demonic activity were present, and over time, that energy can seep into the material objects around them. You might find that a seemingly harmless chair or dresser gives off a strange feeling, or that your mood shifts when you're near certain pieces of furniture. People who have lived with haunted antiques often report feelings of unease, nightmares, or strange occurrences. In extreme cases, the negative energy tied to the furniture can result in persistent anxiety or spiritual oppression. While it's difficult to pinpoint exactly why or how, the truth is that objects carry the energy of their history. If an item has been associated with suffering, violence, or occult practices, it could have absorbed those experiences and bring them into your home. It's important to recognize when an object feels off and understand that it might be time to let go of things that no longer serve a peaceful or positive role in your space. The removal of these pieces not only frees your home of unwanted energy, but can also restore peace and serenity to your environment. It's better to choose items that align with your faith and spiritual beliefs, ensuring that everything in your home brings light and harmony instead of spiritual baggage. Ouija boards are one of the most widely recognized tools used to communicate with spirits, but their dangers go far beyond what many realize. These boards, often seen as a form of entertainment or curiosity, are deeply rooted in occult practices. The idea behind the Ouija board is that it provides a way to contact the spirit world. But what people don't always understand is that these practices open a gateway to forces that can be both deceptive and dangerous. The board works by allowing users to ask questions and, through the movement of the planchette, receive answers from spirits or entities. However, these answers do not come from a harmless source. Many people who have used Ouija boards report feeling a sense of unease or fear afterward, and some even experience ongoing spiritual disturbances. These disturbances can manifest in the form of nightmares, feelings of oppression, or the presence of something that seems otherworldly in their homes. The problem with the Ouija board is that it doesn't just connect you to benevolent spirits. It opens the door to any and all types of spiritual entities, some of which can be demonic in nature. Even if your intentions are innocent, using a Ouija board can invite forces that you cannot control. For Christians, the Bible cautions against seeking spiritual knowledge through anything other than God. The danger lies in the fact that Ouija boards allow people to seek answers from sources outside of God's protection, leaving them vulnerable to negative spiritual influence. If you have a Ouija board in your home, it's important to remove it immediately and close the door to these harmful practices. The spiritual consequences of dabbling in this kind of divination are serious and can create lasting impacts on your peace of mind and spiritual health. Music and art with dark themes can have a subtle yet powerful effect on the atmosphere of your home. Many people enjoy listening to music or displaying artwork simply because it resonates with them on an emotional level. But the themes behind the music or art can carry hidden dangers. When you surround yourself with music that glorifies violence, darkness, rebellion, or despair, you invite those very energies into your life. The lyrics of some songs speak to spiritual forces that go against faith and purity, often promoting a worldview that celebrates chaos, pain, and even demonic influences. Art with dark imagery, whether it's paintings, posters, or sculptures, can also carry a similar weight. These pieces may appear to be harmless or merely artistic expression, but if they depict themes of death, destruction, or occult practices, they can invite negativity into your environment. Just as we are influenced by the people we spend time with, we are also influenced by what we allow to surround us in our homes. When we surround ourselves with images or sounds that celebrate things that go against our beliefs, we may unknowingly open doors to spiritual unrest. These influences can affect our thoughts, emotions, and ultimately our relationship with God. It's important to recognize that even the music we listen to or the artwork we display can impact our spiritual lives. Choosing music and art that uplift the soul, promote peace, and align with your faith can transform the atmosphere of your home and protect your spirit from negativity. Instead of filling your space with dark or harmful themes, opt for content that nurtures faith, hope, and positivity. Your environment should reflect the light and peace that come from walking in faith, not the darkness of the world's influence. Personal items with spiritual significance, such as jewelry, clothing, or trinkets, can often carry hidden meanings that influence your spiritual life. These items might seem like simple accessories or keepsakes, but some are connected to specific beliefs or practices that can lead to spiritual compromise. For instance, jewelry featuring symbols like the evil eye, pentagrams, or other occult imagery can subtly tie you to spiritual realms that are not aligned with your faith. These items, while popular in certain cultures or fashion trends, can hold spiritual significance that is counter to the principles of Christianity. Even certain types of clothing, such as garments or accessories used in rituals or connected to false religions, can carry spiritual residue. Many people unknowingly wear these items or keep them as tokens of protection or good luck, not realizing that they are opening themselves up to negative influences. These objects may not appear harmful on the surface, but their deeper spiritual significance can affect your peace and connection with God. When we wear or display items that are tied to spiritual practices outside of our faith, we risk inviting confusion or even demonic influence into our lives. It's important to examine the items we keep close to us and recognize that not all symbols are benign. If you have jewelry or other personal items that carry these meanings, it's time to remove them and replace them with things that honor God and support your spiritual journey. Removing these objects can help cleanse your space and your heart, allowing you to align more closely with the truth and light of your faith. Occult books and literature are one of the most subtle but powerful ways that negative spiritual influences can enter your home. Many books, particularly those related to witchcraft, magic, and the occult, are filled with teachings and practices that oppose the teachings of Christ. While these books might be sold as harmless reads or works of fiction, they often carry spiritual weight that can subtly shift your thoughts, beliefs, and even your actions. These books can serve as a gateway, inviting curiosity about occult practices and the supernatural world that exists outside of God's protection. It's important to recognize that the ideas and philosophies in these books are not neutral. They're often deeply rooted in spiritual deception, designed to lead readers away from the truth. Even seemingly innocent books, like those on astrology, mysticism, or divination, can slowly erode your faith and open you up to harmful spiritual practices. The Bible warns against dabbling in sorcery and seeking knowledge from sources outside of God. When you fill your mind with occult literature, you're essentially allowing a spiritual seed to be planted in your heart, one that may lead you down a dangerous path. Many who have read such books report feelings of confusion, temptation, or even an increased sense of spiritual darkness. These books can alter your perception of the world, making it harder to discern the truth. If you have books or literature related to the occult in your home, it's time to rid yourself of them. Instead, replace them with literature that aligns with your faith, that strengthens your connection to God, and helps guide you on a righteous path. Removing these books is a powerful step in reclaiming your spiritual health and ensuring that your mind is filled with truth, peace, and light. Charms and talismans are often thought of as harmless objects intended for good luck or protection. However, these items can carry hidden spiritual significance that opens doors to negative forces. Many people wear charms or keep them in their homes without fully understanding their origins or the beliefs behind them. Some charms are rooted in ancient practices linked to the worship of false gods or spirits, and even if they seem like simple trinkets, they can hold a spiritual power that is not aligned with Christianity. These objects are often believed to possess special powers, such as bringing good fortune or warding off evil, but in reality, they can connect you to forces that go beyond what God intends for your life. The belief in the protective power of charms and talismans can lead to a reliance on these objects rather than trusting in God's protection and provision. This subtle shift in focus can open the door to spiritual deception. Instead of relying on God, you might find yourself relying on an object for safety or success, which undermines your faith and trust in Him. Even seemingly innocent objects, like a lucky coin or a protective amulet, can serve as a gateway to spiritual oppression. The Bible teaches that our faith and protection come from God alone, not from objects or superstitions. If you have charms or talismans in your home or on your person, it's important to remove them. These items may seem harmless at first, but they carry with them an unseen spiritual influence that could be affecting your life in ways you don't fully understand. By removing them, you are reaffirming your trust in God as your protector and source of strength, rather than relying on objects that divert your focus from His power. The spiritual impact of unchecked objects in your home can be profound, even if it's not immediately noticeable. Over time, the presence of harmful items can create an environment of unease, confusion, or tension. You might find yourself feeling spiritually drained, anxious, or even battling with negative thoughts or emotions more than usual. These are often signs that something in your home is affecting your spiritual well-being. The issue with keeping these objects is that their influence often builds up gradually, much like a slow leak that over time causes significant damage. You may not notice the subtle changes at first, but over time, the effects become harder to ignore. Many people report a sense of spiritual oppression or a decrease in peace after bringing certain objects into their homes. This could be a feeling of constant unrest, difficulty focusing on prayer or worship, or a sense of being spiritually distant from God. It's not just the physical objects. It's the spiritual residue they carry that impacts the atmosphere of your home. When you allow these objects to remain, you might also notice that your prayers feel less effective, or that you experience spiritual blockages in your life. The enemy often works in subtle ways, and these objects can serve as a foothold for him to disrupt your peace and connection with God. By removing these items, you reclaim the spiritual territory in your home, restoring the peace and presence of God that should fill every corner of your space. The act of cleansing your home is not just about removing physical clutter, but about renewing your spirit and refocusing your life on what truly matters, your relationship with God. Removing these items allows you to regain control over your spiritual environment, making space for God's peace, presence, and protection to flow freely through your home once again. When we take the time to rid our homes of spiritually harmful objects, we are making a conscious choice to protect ourselves, our families, and our spiritual well-being. It's not just about removing things, it's about opening ourselves up to the fullness of God's peace and blessing. A clean home, free of items that can invite negativity, creates an environment where God's presence can dwell more freely. This doesn't just affect the atmosphere of the space, it impacts every aspect of our lives. When we remove objects tied to the occult, idol worship, or other spiritual forces, we are aligning ourselves more closely with God's will for our lives. The Bible reminds us that we are temples of the Holy Spirit, and our homes should reflect that truth. By getting rid of these objects, we are taking a stand against any spiritual forces that might try to influence our thoughts, actions, and beliefs. It's not about superstition or fear. It's about reclaiming the space in our lives that belongs to God. We have the authority to remove anything that doesn't honor Him, and by doing so, we invite His light to fill every corner of our homes. The act of removing demonic items is not just a physical task, it's a spiritual declaration of our faith and our desire to live according to God's plan. As we let go of the things that have held negative power over us, we open the door to a deeper, more peaceful relationship with God, and a home that is truly a sanctuary for our hearts and souls. It's easy to overlook the impact that our surroundings have on our spiritual health, but the truth is that everything we bring into our homes has the potential to shape our lives, whether for good or ill. The objects we choose to surround ourselves with play a significant role in influencing our thoughts, our peace, and even our relationship with God. By examining our homes and removing items that have any connection to negativity, the occult, or false spiritual beliefs, we are taking an important step toward creating a space that honors God. It's about being intentional with what we allow into our lives, recognizing that we have control over the atmosphere we create. When we rid our homes of these harmful items, we are not just making a physical change, we are making a spiritual declaration that our hearts and our homes belong to God alone. Each decision to remove an item is a decision to invite more of God's presence, peace, and protection into our lives. This process is not always easy, but it is necessary for the health of our spirits. By taking these steps, we are creating a home that is truly a place of rest, healing, and spiritual growth, where the peace of God can reign. If you've identified items in your home that may be spiritually harmful, it's time to take action. Removing them is the first step toward restoring the spiritual harmony and protection that God desires for you. Keep your home a place where only His light shines through, and allow Him to fill every corner with His peace. If you've realized that some of the items in your home may not be aligned with your faith, it's time to take action. Don't wait for things to get worse. Take control of your spiritual environment today. Start by removing any objects that have negative or occult associations. And once you've done that, keep your home clear of anything that might invite negativity back in. Let your home be a place where God's peace can freely flow. If you found this video helpful and want more insights on how to create a spiritually healthy space, make sure to subscribe and check out our next video. Your journey toward a deeper connection with God starts with the choices you make today.